Well, welcome back to Rosemaling and Hope Chest number 4. When I last spoke to you, I had framed the areas that were going to get painted and had black lines that would form the frame. And as I looked at it, it seemed too bold. My granddaughter is 16, and as far as I know, she's not wearing black leather. So I took my trusty old sea sponge and dabbed on gray paint, and then dabbed on some of this blue paint that the chest is painted with to get more of a lacy look. Also, remember I talked about sandpaper. I could not get the graphite paper to leave its design on here. So I got some 300 grit sandpaper and roughed up the surface, and that made all the difference. I got the lines very clearly. So I started painting, but I needed to get the colors right. And I had this paper pattern here, which I used, which I then went back and put a dab of color into each of the areas so that I'd have an idea on here where it went. So I did all the blues, then I did all the greens, then I did all the reds, and finished up with all the yellows. And you'll see in 1 week, I've accomplished a lot at all these 5 sides. So this is the front. There's the keyhole here, but I don't have the key. But it looks authentic because there's a keyhole. So the front was pretty up front. The front was up front and easy to paint. To get to the sides, however, was more of a challenge. Let me try to show you. Both of the ends had this pattern on them. I didn't like what was up on top here. It was plain. I thought it should be dressed up. So since we have a red frame around the other areas, I painted the front of this red, then did some green scrolls, and then came in and did some flowers over the green scrolls, so that you look at the flowers instead of thinking, well, how good are those scrolls? So that was one end. This is the other end. And this job took me a week, and it turned out to be pretty challenging. But now I'll show you the back, and then I'll lift up the lid so you can see the back and the lid at the same time, as long as I don't lift it off of the card table that I'm standing by. There. That's the pattern on the back, and this is the pattern on the lid. So I used the same colors and the same size of decoration in both areas, on all 5 areas, so that it all hangs together. And I hope that my granddaughter likes it. Inside, it was raw wood. I'm going to write her name, and then Jesus loves you, and so does Grandpa. So whenever she has it empty, she'll see that at the bottom of the box. So I hope you've been satisfied with the result. I think she will be. So this is going to be her hope chest. And now that she's 16, she's the right age to get one. Thanks for following along. I'm Dave Severson, and be glad to talk to anybody who has questions about Rosemaling.